The deep state intel community would have you believe that the Russians were working overtime to help Donald Trump win the presidency. Not true. The Russians were working to sow chaos and discord among the American people and pitted both sides against each other. Devin Nunes and other GOP leaders are pushing back against the intel communities for their biased assessment, which once again helps Hillary by making her look like a victim. From Washington Examiner, Republicans on the House Intelligence Committee are questioning the intelligence community's judgment that Russia's Vladimir Putin specifically tried to help Donald Trump and hurt Hillary Clinton in the 2016 presidential election. That judgment did not employ proper analytic tradecraft, committee Republicans charge in a new set of findings released Thursday. But the exact reasons for the committee's skepticism remain secret, at least until a full report is released later. Here are the two brief references to Putin's intention included in the newly released findings. Finding number 15, the majority of the intelligence community assessment judgments on Russia's election activities employed proper analytic tradecraft. Finding number 16, the intelligence community assessment judgments on Putin's strategic intentions did not employ proper analytic tradecraft. The first, finding number 15, says House Intel Republicans agree with and support the intelligence community assessment's finding that Russia tried to meddle in the 2016 election. Indeed, the committee makes a number of recommendations based on that fact. But finding number 16 refers to the assessment's specific judgment about Putin and Trump, suggesting it was somehow improperly reached. A little background: the intelligence community released two statements on Russian meddling, a brief, preliminary one, dated October 7, 2016, and a more complete one released January 6, 2017. The October 7 statement said only that Russia's intention was to interfere with the U.S. election process. The January 6 assessment said Russia's goal was specifically to help Trump and hurt Clinton. Here is the relevant portion of the October 7 statement. The U.S. intelligence community, USIC, is confident that the Russian government directed the recent compromises of emails from U.S. persons and institutions, including from U.S. political organizations. The recent disclosures of alleged hacked emails on sites like Leaks.com and WikiLeaks and by the Guxer 2.0 online persona are consistent with the methods and motivations of Russian-directed efforts. These thefts and disclosures are intended to interfere with the U.S. election process. Such activity is not new to Moscow. The Russians have used similar tactics and techniques across Europe and Eurasia, for example, to influence public opinion there. We believe, based on the scope and sensitivity of these efforts, that only Russia's senior-most officials could have authorized these activities. And here is the relevant portion of the January 6 intelligence community assessment. We assess Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered an influence campaign in 2016 aimed at the U.S. presidential election. Russia's goals were to undermine public faith in the U.S. democratic process, denigrate Secretary Clinton, and harm her electability and potential presidency. We further assess Putin and the Russian government developed a clear preference for President-elect Trump. We have high confidence in these judgments. We also assess Putin and the Russian government aspire to help President-elect Trump's election chances when possible by discrediting Secretary Clinton and publicly contrasting her unfavorably to him. All three agencies agree with this judgment. CIA and FBI have high confidence in this judgment. NSA has moderate confidence. Something happened between the October 7 and January 6 intelligence community statements. One obvious explanation is that the intelligence community learned more about Russian interference, enough to draw a conclusion about Putin's motive. But House Intel Republicans appear to believe that the intelligence community used some sort of improper process to reach that conclusion. In other words, the committee GOP seems to be suggesting that the intelligence community might have cooked the books sometime between October 7 and January 6. But in what way? How could that have happened? Some point to an article in the Washington Post, dated December 10, 2016, headlined, FBI and CIA give differing accounts to lawmakers on Russia's motive in 2016 hacks. The paper reported that in a meeting a few days before December 10, committee members asked FBI officials if they concurred with the CIA's finding that Putin was specifically trying to help Trump and hurt Clinton. For the Democrats in the room, the FBI's response was frustrating, even shocking, the Post reported. While the CIA had earlier made direct and bold and unqualified statements about Russia's intention to help Trump, the paper said, The FBI is not sold on the idea that Russia had a particular aim in its meddling. There's no question that the Russians' efforts went one way, but it's not clear that they have a specific goal or mix of related goals, said one U.S. official. So in December 2016, House Intelligence Committee members, in face-to-face meetings with Intel officials, got the clear idea that some elements of the intelligence community believed strongly that Putin tried to help Trump, while other elements felt that the connection was not nearly so clear. By the time the intelligence community assessment was released on January 6, the FBI had signed on to the conclusion that Putin tried to help Trump. But House Intel investigators have reviewed the original intelligence that went into the intelligence community assessment, and they appear to think something was amiss. Last week, when Rep. Mike Conaway, of Texas, who formerly ran the investigation, revealed a few of the House report's findings, he said he did not think it was possible to conclude definitively that Putin was trying to help Trump. It was clear that Putin was sowing discord in our elections, pitting one American against another, tried to influence it through social media and other things, Conaway said, but we couldn't establish the same conclusion that the CIA did, that they specifically wanted to help Trump. After Conaway spoke, some Republican members appeared to back away a bit from his words. But now, in the newly released findings, the committee supports Conaway's statement. The full Republican report on the Trump-Russia investigation will not be released for several weeks, while the intelligence community, yes, the same intelligence community discussed and criticized in the report, looks it over for classified information. And even when it is released, Republicans on the committee might prepare a separate report specifically on the Putin-Trump finding. In the end, it is not clear if the committee will argue that the intelligence community assessment was wrong in assessing that Putin clearly favored Trump over Clinton, or if it will argue that the intelligence community assessment's conclusion is unreliable. The situation is murky, and it is impossible to know the real story. In any event, there is more, apparently, left to learn. Like and share this video on Facebook and Twitter if you agree. Don't forget to support this channel by clicking on the donation link down below and subscribing so you never miss any of our trending reports. What do you think about this report? Scroll down to comment below. Now, if you are seeking the latest trends in fashion, and electronics and gifts and more at the best prices, please feel free to visit www.atthismall.com. Once again, that is www.atthismall.com.